Say it one more time.
I think it's triggering the time. Like
It's checking the
time. The change the time like to 0 seconds of the timer.
Oh. You talking about the blue clock at the bottom? Is that blocking everything?
Oh no, I'm saying like the actual timer on the app says 0 seconds now.
It says start, pause, reset.
Yeah, no. That's for the buzzing for start and reset. There won't be any usage of that.
Okay.
That's just for in the event that it was like a time on how long you have. It's kind of a internal clock. We just count 1, 2, 3. We declare it to be. Oh, that's what I needed. That to be able to zoom out like that. Okay, now we're doing better. All right, brothers, let's do our buzzer test. I will clear all buzzers. Actually, wait, why the buzzers didn't clear? Okay, try clear now. Yes, okay. If you will buzz in, and she's going to put your screen up for who's first person. Call out your person, please. Could you see on your screen, on your box?
Oh, Omicron Blackman.
Do it again, Omicron Blackman. Outstanding. Eric P, don't buzz in at the same time.
Why is Beta Gamma?
You going?
Omicron Patterson. Omicron Spooner. Omicron. No, sorry, not Omicron. Beta Gamma Hall. Beta Gamma Johnson. Beta Gamma Robinson. Beta Gamma Rush. Iota Zeta Maleke. Okay, thank you. Iota Zeta Tolu. Iota Zeta Penny.
Oh, he's one not there. Next person.
Iota Zeta Teal. Okay. You're missing someone from Omicron. I have on here Beta Gamma Rix, but they should not be in that deck stream. So you have Blackman, Patterson. Oops.
It was Walter Crouch. I'm not
Crouch is missing.
Crouch is missing from our stream.
Okay, let me get you on here, Crouch.
Yep.
1 second.
That's why we do this. After Omicron Blackman, you should have Crouch instead of Rix. Rix is an alternate for Beta Gamma.
Okay, Omicron Crouch, can you?
Omicron Crouch.
Outstanding. All right, brothers, we have all of our information in. We have our tournament ready. I'm going to see if I can reset this clock.
And make sure you have the questions up. And that only you can see them.
Yeah, I know. That's the other piece.
That's the big piece, that only you can see those questions.
All right, brothers. We are live and we are ready to turn my camera just a little bit.
Restart your clock.
Yeah, I'm going to restart the clock over here.
That's your overlay, right? All right.
Okay, there it is. All right, brothers. Beta Gamma versus Omicron. Are both teams ready?
Yes, sir.
Outstanding. Here we go. Iota Zeta, if you will, please mute your microphone, please. Oh, I think you're already muted. Yeah, I see you muted. Okay, you're good. Thank you. I got it. All right, here we go. Round 1. As punishment for not aiding him sufficiently, this ruler attacked Rimsin I and conquered Larsa. This predecessor of Shamshulana successfully defeated a combined force of Asher, Eshuna, and Elam. Gustav Jacquier found a significant artifact from this ruler's reign and an index finger-shaped stone at Susa. This ruler ascended to power following the abdication of Sin Molbalet and employed the principle of lex talionis in a text written on the black steel. That steel from this Amorite king's reign is the most famous for containing such punishments as an eye for an eye. For 10 points.
Beta Gamma Johnson.
What is Hammurabi?
Hammurabi is correct. Your bonus question for. Oh, let me put on the points. Your bonus question for Beta Gamma, you all are able to confer. At a party at this operatic character's Parisian home, Alfredo proposes a toast with the Brindisi drinking song, Limibolo no liti caliche. For 10 points each, name this character a courtesan who sings a cabaletta aria stating her resolve to remain always free. When this character lies and tells Alfredo she loves the Baron Dufal, Alfredo throws his casino winnings at her feet.
Carmen?
Is that the captain's answer?
Yeah, Carmen. Yeah.
Violetta Valerie. The next section is La Traviata is by this famed Italian operatic composer who also wrote Aida and Otello. Your answer, Captain?
Not sure.
Giuseppe Verdi. Violetta is considered the first operatic character to die of this disease, which probably affected Antonia in Offenbach's Tales of Hoffmann. This disease killed Mimi in La Boheme. Your answer, Captain?
Black Plague.
Say it one more time.
Black Plague.
It was tuberculosis. Next toss-up. The artist of this work added a stone to the figure of fallen Caryatide, and one depiction of two of its prominent figures is titled Eternal Springtime. The sculptures Crouching Woman and Falling Man form the balustrade inspired I Am Beautiful in this work. One scene in this work shows Ugolino eating his sons, and the top of this work contains a set of figures which join fists. Three shades figures in this work include the couple Paolo and Francesca, who are depicted in The Kiss, and as a pensive figure who may represent Dante the thinker. For 10 points, name the sculpture by Auguste Rodin who was inspired by the Inferno.
Omicron Crouch.
Who was Dante?
Incorrect, Beta Gamma.
Venus de Milo?
Incorrect. It was actually the Gates of Hell or La Porte della Infer. Question number 3, toss up. Carbon monoxide is a tracer for the presence of this element in interstellar space. A spin flip transition in the molecular form of this element produces 21 centimeter line. Type 1 and Type 2 supernovae are differentiated based on whether they contain spectral lines of this element, which include Balmer lines. This element is the primary component of the interstellar medium and comprises 75% of the baryonic mass of the universes. The core of mains.
Beta Gamma Johnson.
Plutonium?
Incorrect. I'll continue for Omicron.
Omicron Patterson.
Hydrogen.
Hydrogen is correct. Omicron, your bonus question. The last story in this collection ends by describing the faintly falling snow. For 10 points each, that story, The Dead, appears in this short story collection about residents of the title city. Your answer?
Boston.
It was actually called The Dubliners. The second section, this Irish author of The Dubliners paralleled the Odyssey in a novel in which Leopold Bloom wanders around Dublin on June 16, 1904. That novel is Ulysses.
McDowell.
Answer was James Joyce. In this short story from Dubliners, one character reads the poem The Death of Parnell, and politically canvassers discuss National Party mayoral candidate Richard Tierney.
Jackson.
I didn't even get the correct. Which one?
Jackson.
Jackson is incorrect. Ivy Day in the committee room. Next toss-up question. After she tweeted their home address, this actress was sued by George Zimmerman's parents. Sorry, hold on. Just get that out the way.
Yeah.
Sorry. After she tweeted their home address, this actress was sued by George Zimmerman's parents. This actress ran for president in 2012 on the Peace and Freedom Party ticket with activist
Omicron Patterson.
Sarah Palin.
That is incorrect. I'll continue for Beta Gamma. This actress infamously sang a terrible rendition of the national anthem before the 1990s Padres game. This actress's self-titled show was revived after a 2-decade hiatus in 2018. That show was ultimately replaced by a similar show, minus her character, after this actress' racist tweet about Obama advisor Valerie Jarrett. For 10 points, name this actress whose former TV family included John Goodman, now stars in The Conners.
Beta Gamma Johnson.
Roseanne Barr.
That is correct. Your bonus question for Beta Gamma. A growth factor derived from these objects helps regulate angiogenesis. For 10 points each, name these fragments of megakaryocytes that activate when the GVPI receptor bond with collagen. They aggregate into clumps to aid in blood clotting. Your answer? I'm sorry?
Platelets.
Platelets is acceptable. It was actually thrombocytes or platelets. The release of alpha granules from thrombocytes can be stimulated by attachment of serotonin to residues of this amino acid. It is synthesized by its namesake synthetase enzyme for glutamic acid and ammonia.
Guanine.
Is actually glutamine. And the final section, the neurodegenerative disease is caused by an expanding repeat of glutamine codons in its namesake protein. Sufferers of this disease often experience shaky movements known as chorea, and it is effects by temporarily slowed by tetrabenazine.
Parkinson's.
It's actually Huntington's disease. I'm going to pause our section here just for a second. I think I've been missing the counts.
Brother Samuels, the timer is also resetting.
Yes.
It reset it?
It keeps,
Yeah,
it
it's
keeps
like
changing.
go back to 1950.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. Wonder why it's doing that. Oh, when you hit a new screen, it's probably doing
It's
that.
resetting that. Yeah.
Jesus. Okay, hold on, brothers. Pause where we are. I got to do a separate timer then. Use the phone to do it. So you won't be able to see the time, but you'll be able to hear it. We'll move down to 15 minutes. Actually, I'll give you 16. But let me fix this score right quick. Beta Gamma answered 2. Did I get that correct?
Yeah, two toss up, one bonus. Oh, okay, two.
2 toss up, 1 bonus.
Yeah.
And I believe Omicron has 2 and has 1 and 2 bonuses. Do I get that right?
No.
Y'all had
We have one toss up, no bonus.
1 toss up, no
Where are you
bonus.
keeping all of the scores?
It should show up at the bottom for the teams.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So just do it from the team.
From the
then?
team then, yeah.
Correct.
Okay, they got no bonus and I got 2 and 1. Does the score reflect right? You all see that on there? 30 to 10. Matter of fact, I'll just put that in here. Hold on. Show score. No. What the fuck is the score thing? I'll fix that next one. Oh, it was it. Yeah. Yeah, forget. I'll fix it. We know it's 10s. Okay. And so now I'm gonna start the timer. We'll be at 16 minutes when we start. Players, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Outstanding. Next toss up. In a novel about a man with this profession, the protagonist is convinced to not kill himself after giving up this profession by the Quaker surgeon William Walters. One character with this profession gets into a wild fight with Black Dog before meeting the blind man Pew. In Robinson Crusoe, Crusoe is captured by people of this profession and made into a slave while at Salé. Other characters of this profession include Ben Gunn, who was stranded on an island for 3 years while looking for an object whose location is outlined in Billy Bones' map. For 10 points, name this profession held by many characters in Treasure Island, such as
Omicron Spooner.
What is a pirate?
That is correct. The next toss-up for the Omicron chapter. Answer the following about planned communities in the United States. For 10 points each, in 1943, the U.S. government designed towns at several top-secret sites, including Richland, Washington, and Los Alamos, New Mexico, to house workers associated with this project.
Manhattan Project.
That is correct. The second toss-up. 7 planned communities with this name were built after World War II to house veterans. The first of these communities, located in Nassau County, New York, is considered the first mass-produced suburb. Your answer, Captain?
Cul-de-sac.
Incorrect. It was Levitt Towns, or except William Levitt. The Villages, a planned retirement in this state, is often designated one of America's fastest growing cities. This state is also home to Coral Gables and Opa-locka, 2 1920s era planned suburbs of Miami.
Are you looking for the state? Florida.
Florida is the correct answer. Next toss up. This figure owned a dog named Sport that was accidentally cut in half and had its legs sewn on upside down. This figure is accompanied by a man who was once saved by 12 barrels of ink by not crossing his T's or dotting his I's, and a team of 1-ton ants that only eat Swedish snuff. As a baby, this figure was so large that he had to be delivered by a team of 5 storks. This figure legendarily created the Missouri River while mourning the loss of his most well-known companion, whom he had met during the year of blue snow. This figure created the...
Beta Gamma Johnson.
Paul Bunyan?
Paul Bunyan is correct. Your toss-up questions for Beta Gamma is... In this religion's afterlife, souls are said to cross the Shinvat Bridge, which widens or narrows based on worthiness. For 10 points each, name this Middle Eastern religion. In this religion's Navajot initiation ceremony, adherents receive the Kushiti, or sacred belt, and Sedre, an undershirt. Your answer, Captain?
Hinduism.
Zoroastrian, or Zoroastrianism. Zoroastrians dispose of their dead by placing bodies atop these specific structures where they are disposed of by birds and other natural forces. Your answer, Captain?
Pyres.
This is Towers of Silence, or Dakma. In this country, Towers of Silence are rarely used since diclofenac poisoning has dramatically decreased the vulture population in cities like Mumbai.
In India?
That is correct. Your next toss-up, both teams. A dimensionless normalized form of this quantity is called activity. According to Beer's law, the product of this quantity... What? Hold on, pause the time. What?
Camera.
Oh.
Brief
Sorry.
intermission.
I paused the time. Okay, we're
Make sure you're recording.
recording still. Got it. Okay. And resume time. A dimensionless normalized form of this quantity is called activity. According to Beer's law, the product of this quantity, path length and extinction coefficient, equals absorbance. This quantity of a species is indicated by drawing a square brackets around it. Either this quantity or partial pressures are raised to the power of stoichiometric coefficients in the expression for the equilibrium constant. Molality or molarity are measurements of this quantity. For 10 points, identify this quantity, the number of moles of a chemical species per unit volume of solvent. Omicron Patterson. Time. The answer for Omicron. Oh, it was Blackman as well. Beta Gamma, would you like to try? Beta Gamma Johnson.
Avogadro's number?
Say one more time.
Avogadro's number?
The answer was concentration, except molarity or molality. This author wrote about the immortal 777-year-old flapping eagle going to Calf Island in his first novel, Grimace. In another novel by this author, a character who frequently uses the term "what's its name" is examined through a perforated sheet. The protagonist of that novel loses his most notable ability after undergoing sinus surgery and marries Parvati the witch. In a dream sequence in one of this author's novels, the butterfly-covered Aisha leads pilgrims into the Arabian Sea, and Gabriel and Saladin survive a plane crash. For 10 points, name this author of the Satanic Verses who created the telepathic Salim Sinai in Midnight's Children. Time. The answer was Salam Rushdie. Next toss-up. In a trial after one of these events, Max Stewart suggests Kate Alterman had merely memorized her testimony. One of these events, which began at D. Coven Street, occurred on the same day as a merely dead one of the events of this Peshtigo. And unlikely one of these events that inspired the creation of the EPA occurred during the overwhelming pollution of the Cayuga River. Dolly Madison saved a portrait of George Washington from destruction caused by one of these events. For 10 points, Omicron
Crouch.
What is flood?
Incorrect. I'll finish for Beta Gamma. For 10 points, name these destructive events such as a Great Chicago one allegedly caused by...
Beta Gamma Johnson.
What is a fire?
That is correct. The toss-up for Beta Gamma is... An Australian man named Peter Scott maintains an online ranking of reviews of, so far, 83 recordings of this suite, with the version conducted by the composer only ranking number 5. For 10 points each, name this astrologically inspired suite by Gustav Holst, whose movements include Saturn, the bringer of old age, and Neptune, the mystic.
Would it be Age of Aquarius?
Incorrect. This was the Planets, opus number 32. Next section. In this 5/4 time march from the planets, the horns play over an ostinato that is played col legno. Sir Adrian Bolt stated that Holst most wanted to express the stupidity of this first movement's subject. Your answer, Captain?
Venus?
Actually, it was Mars, the bringer of war. Holst later set the chorale from the movement Jupiter, bringer of jollity, as a patriotic hymn based on this poem by Cecil Spring Rice. Your answer?
Springtime.
It was I Vow to Thee, My Country. Next toss-up, both teams. This thinker stated that people's titles and offices should correspond to their behavior. His doctrine of rectification of names. This thinker compared a virtuous ruler to the pole star that other lesser stars revolve around, and this thinker believed that the virtue was upheld through ceremonies he called li, or rituals. This thinker proposed father and son and ruler and subject as a part of 5 relationships that helped cultivate ren, or compassion, the most basic being filial piety. For 10 points, name this ancient Chinese... Beta Gamma Johnson.
Confucius?
It is Confucius. The toss-up, a bonus question for Beta Gamma. One of these facilities, named Icarus, is filled with liquid argon and is headed by Carlo Rubbia. For 10 points each, name these facilities. Super Kamiokande is another one of these facilities that uses a stainless steel tank to contain ultra-pure water.
What is a nuclear reactor?
Incorrect. It is a neutrino detectors. A super Kamiokande uses phototubes to detect this phenomenon. When neutrinos interact with the water, it can emit electrons that move faster than the speed of light in water, causing the radiation named for this Russian physicist. Your answer, Captain?
Dostoevsky?
Is the Cherenkov radiation. Cherenkov radiation emits light that is mostly in this part of the electromagnetic spectrum. It has shorter wavelength than visible light and can cause skin cancer if you don't wear sunscreen.
Gamma radiation?
Say that one more time.
Gamma radiation?
Gamma radiation is incorrect. It's ultraviolet or UV. Next toss up. In one of this author's stories, an officer watches men lick rice pudding out of an electrically heated bowl and dodges when those men spit the pudding at his face. This author wrote about an apparatus with the three parts of the bed, the harrow, and the inscriber, which etches laws of the bodies of condemned men and the words "be just" on the body of this officer. That story by this author is in Penal Colony. In this author's most famous work, the main character finds that he no longer enjoys the taste of milk after transforming into a hideous vermin. For 10 points, name this author who wrote about Gregor Samsa, The Metamorphosis. Beta Gamma Johnson.
George Orwell?
Incorrect. Omicron. Time. The answer was George Kafka. Next toss up. The founder of this religion is the subject of biographies named Janamisky and emphasized by the importance of repeating the names of a religion's god, a practice known as Nam Japo. This religion's place of worship contains communal kitchens called langars. The Golden Temple is the holiest of this religion's place of worship, which are called
Beta Gamma Johnson.
Buddhism?
Incorrect. I will finish for Omicron. Which are called gurdwaras. A small dagger and a wooden comb are among the 5 Ks that members of this religion carry with them. Guru Nanak founded for 10 points what religion whose followers are most recognizable by their turbans?
Sikhism.
Omicron Spooner.
What is Sikhism?
Sikhism is correct. Omicron, your toss up, your bonus question. The anthropologists observed a 4-year war between the Kama and Kasakela, which resulted in the deaths of Goliath and Gadi. For 10 points, name this anthropologist who conducted extensive field work with subjects like David Greybeard, Flo, and Mr. McGregor.
Noam Chomsky.
The actual name was Jane Goodall. Goodall is best known for studying these primates. She witnessed these primates using tools to fish for termites and discovered that these primates eat colobus monkeys, refuting the notion that these primates were vegetarian.
Chimpanzees? Yeah.
Chimpanzees is correct. This is Spooner, right?
This is Spooner.
And efforts have been made to teach chimpanzees, including Washu and Nimchimpsky, to use these constructs with middling success. Coco, a gorilla, was famous for learning to use these constructs.
Sign language.
Sign language is correct. Next toss-up. In one work by this composer, a hectic Allegro agitato section imitates a streetcar rising into iron moan. That piece for soprano and orchestra opens by remarking, "It has become the time evening when people sit on their porches," and sets a James Agee poem about childhood to music. This composer's partner, Giancarlo Menotti, wrote the libretto for his opera, Vanessa. That composer of Knoxville, summer of 1950, adapted the second movement of his string quartet into a piece that was played during this radio announcement of Franklin Roosevelt's death. For 10 points, name this American composer of Adagio for strings. Omicron Patterson.
Andre Prutman.
Incorrect. Beta Gamma. time, the answer was Samuel Barber. Next toss-up. The surface of these cells contain a receptor called ZP3, which is part of a glycoprotein layer on these cells, which called the zona pellucida. These cells are produced in a process which also generates several polar bodies. The corpus luteum forms after these cells develop. The production of these cells cease after follicles become insensitive to follicle-stimulating hormone, which causes menopause. These cells travel down the fallopian tube during the ovary to the uterus, from the ovary to the uterus.
Beta gamma hall.
Eggs.
Eggs is correct. And your bonus question. This character tells his master, "You taught me language, and my profit on it is I know how to curse." For 10 points, name this character, a son of Socarax, who is forced to serve the sorcerer Prospero. This character describes the noises, sounds, and sweet airs of his native island in a notably tender speech.
Hawk.
It is called Caliban. Caliban appears in this William Shakespeare play. Oh, we're out of time. All right. So at the end of the first half, let's look at our scores here. We've got Beta Gamma at 80 and Omicron at 70. Are there any substitutions?
Nah.
No.
Okay, both teams are good. I'm going to move this timer back.
Good game, bros.
Are both teams good?
Yeah.
Oh, let me be better clear. Iota Zeta, are you good? To going? Not Iota Zeta, sorry. Omicron, are you clear to go forward?
Oh wait, I thought it was gonna be IZ and Beta Gamma.
It is. It's still the same squad. It's first half, second half. Beta Gamma is still up versus Omicron, and this is the second half of their playing. We're just giving you a time to be able to sub in players if you needed to.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
Now we're good.
I take it Beta Gamma is keeping the same players?
Yes.
Okay. Omicron, are you keeping the same players?
Yeah, sir.
Outstanding. We are going on with the next set of toss-up. Let me make sure I got this right. And actually, give me one brief second. Turn off. 1 second.
Confucius drinking. Man, I heard Leo. I didn't even paint a touch on Sex and the Clown.
Sorry about that. The puppies were acting a fool downstairs. Okay, let me reset the timer. All right. And make sure I got my questions right. All right. Make sure I'm still good on my bonuses. Yeah. Okay, what's the next one? All right, and I've got all my teams in. That's cleared off. Let's get our timer together. All right, brothers, are we ready?
Yes, sir.
Outstanding. I'll be starting the time in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Many prototypes for these machines were built by William Foster and Company. Units was utilized. These machines first fought each other at the Second Battle of Villers-Bretonneux. During the siege of Leningrad, an especially heavy variant of these vehicles known as Omicron Spooner.
What are tanks?
Tanks is correct. The toss-up question for Omicron. Answer the following about some of the revolutions of 1848. For 10 points each, this French monarch from the House of Orleans was forced to abdicate and flee the country in February of 1848. This monarch himself came to power in the July Revolution of 1830 and was dubbed the Citizens' King.
You got to
King Louis XIV.
I actually wish it was, but it's Louis Philip I. The 13 martyrs of Arad who executed during this country's 1848 revolution against Austrian rule, Lajos Kossuth was declared leader of this country, which united with Austria in a dual monarchy in 1867.
Hungary.
Hungary is correct. And the third section, the revolutions of 1848 shattered the delicate concert of Europe established by this Austrian statesman to restore the European balance of power at the Congress of Vienna, which this leader hosted. Your answer, Captain?
Weimar.
Incorrect. It was Clemens von Metternich. Next toss-up. One poem by this author describes how irate Cyrus split the river Ganges into 360 trickles during an age of drafty sails and draftier castles. In another poem by this author, the narrator calls herself the arrow that flies into the red eye, the cauldron of morning, while riding a horse. This author of A Lesson in Vengeance wrote a poem in which she tells the title figure, "There's a stake in your fat black heart." That poem by this author is about a man in black with Mein Kampf look. For 10 points, name this female poet of Ariel who used description of Hitler to talk about her father in the poem Daddy. Time. Odell Blackman from Omicron?
Anne Frank.
Incorrect. The answer, Beta Gamma, I'll give you a chance.
No.
Sylvia Plath. In 2011, Andres Russo was allowed to study the boiling river in this country's Huanaco region. That world's most populous city, inaccessible by road, Iquitos, is located in this country's northeastern rainforest region. The seaport of Calo is adjacent to this nation's capital. A coastal desert in this country contains giant hummingbird and monkey figures, which are among the geoglyphs known as the Nazca lines.
Beta Gamma Johnson.
What is Peru?
Peru is correct. And your bonus question. This empire had two elite military units called the Jaguar and Eagle Warriors. For 10 points each, name this empire centered on the city of Tenochtitlan that controlled much of the Valley of Mexico. This empire's people were organized into Calipoli, and they cultivated food in gardens called chinampas.
Is it the Aztec Empire?
Aztec Empire is correct. The Aztecs fought rivals such as Tlaxcala and Colulain in these ritual wars. The prisoners procured during these wars were used for human sacrifices. Your answer, Captain? Time.
Not sure.
It was the Flower Wars. An Aztec emperor of this name carried out expeditions against Mixtecs and began the Flower Wars. The second emperor of this name was taken prisoner and killed by the Spanish under Hernan Cortez.
Montezuma?
Montezuma is correct. Next toss-up question for both teams. In one film set in this city, the main character gets a job hanging up posters in Rita Hayworth of Rita Hayworth until he is robbed and goes on a trek across the city with his son to find the thief. A gossip journalist wades with Swedish actress Sylvia into a fountain in the film set in this city, which is titled For the Sweet Life of the Aristocracy. The film Bicycle Thieves shows the poor post-war era of this city.
Omicron Crouch.
Paris.
Incorrect. I'll continue for Beta Gamma. The Bicycle Thieves shows the poor post-war era of the city. Vittorio De Sica and Federico Fellini produced many films in this city, which include a famous site where Maximus defeats Commodus in a 2000 film. For 10 points, name this Italian city whose Colosseum is the setting of Gladiator.
Rome.
Beta Gamma Johnson.
Rome.
Rome is correct. I will give you all the bonus question. The bonus question: in 2019, Prank saw impersonators of this leader and Kim Jong-un meeting in Hong Kong and enjoying a dinner of Jollibee's fried chicken. For 10 points each, name this former Davao City mayor and current Philippine president. This advocate for the Build, Build, Build program has gained international attention for his harsh war on drugs. Your
Ronald
answer?
Reagan.
Incorrect. Second section. China rejected a 2016 Philippine arbitration victory concerning territorial claims in this body of water. China's continued presence in this sea amid promises of investments of the Philippines is seen by Duterte's opponents as him being duped.
The Yellow Sea.
Incorrect. It was the South China Sea. Chinese claims in the South China Sea centered on the 9-dash line, a border originally created in 1947 by this island nation with capital Taipei. China added a 10th line to incorporate this island into its claim in 2013.
Taiwan.
Taiwan is correct. Your next toss-up question. The detonation, deflagration transition occurs at this quantity. For an ideal gas, this quantity is equal to the square root of the quantity adiabatic index times pressure over density, and equivalently the square root of bulk modulus over density by the Newton-Laplace equation. This quantity is often estimated with an equation with a 0.6 times temperature term. Exceeding this quantity causes a shock wave to form. The ratio flow of velocity to this quantity is the Mach number.
Beta Gamma Johnson.
What is the speed of sound?
The speed of sound is correct. The toss-up bonus question. Euler used his totient function to generalize this theorem to non-prime modality. For 10 points each, name this theorem, which states that a number a raised to a prime number p is equal to a modulo p.
Euler's method.
Incorrect. It is Fermat's Little theorem, or FLT. Fermat's last theorem, which states that a to the n plus b to the n equals c to the n, can only be true when n is this integer. The variables in this Pythagorean theorem are also raised to this integer power. Your answer, Captain?
2.
2 is correct. The Fermat's last theorem was proved by Andrew Wild's proof of Taniyama-Shimura conjecture. That conjecture states that these plane algebraic curves have modular forms.
Parabola.
Incorrect. It was elliptical curves. Next toss-up, both teams. These people fought against Duncan Cameron, whose forces were defeated in battle by followers of these people's King's movement. George Gray led the Hutt Valley campaign against these people. After one leader of these people brought down a Union Jack, these people fought the Flagstaff War. These people who established hill forts known as
Beta Gamma Johnson.
Who the IRA?
Incorrect. I'll continue for Omicron. fought against themselves during the Musket Wars. William Hobson convinced many chiefs of these people to accept British rule with the Treaty of Waitangi. For 10 points, name these indigenous people of New Zealand.
Omicron Patterson.
Maori.
Maori is correct. The bonus question for you all. One character in this short story sees strange and unfamiliar constellations and compares the sound of a watch to a blacksmith's hammer upon the anvil. For 10 points each, name this short story in which Peyton Farquhar imagines escaping execution at the title location and returning to his plantation. Your answer, Captain?
Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Incorrect. An occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge. This second section. This author of An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge wrote about a deaf mute boy learning that his house has been set on fire in the short story Chickamauga. Your answer, Captain?
Robert Pattinson.
Ambrose Gwyneth Bierce. In this short story by Bierce, the title chess-playing robot kills its creator. Your answer, Captain?
Watson.
It was Moxon's master. All right. The next toss-up. Oh, wait a minute. There it is. In one compound, this number of fluorine atoms orient themselves around a central xenon atom in an octahedral geometry. Ca plus Ca2. Bergamma Johnson.
8.
Incorrect. I'll continue for Omicron. Ca2 plus forms this many bonds with 3 molecules of the polydentate ligand, EDTA. The Wurtz reaction can be used to create a cyclic compound with this many carbon atoms, and that compound can be found in boat and chair conformations. This is the number of carbon atoms in 1,2-methylbutane, as well as the number of hydrogen atoms in benzene. For 10 points, give this number, which is the number of carbons in glucose and the atomic number for carbon. Omicron Blackman.
6.
6 is the correct answer. The toss-up for you all. For 10 points each, answer the following about myths involving the huntress Atalanta. Atalanta is the most notable for being the first to strike during the hunt for one of these animals from Caledona. After this animal was killed, Meleager awarded Atalanta its hide. Your answer?
Buffalo.
Incorrect. It was a boar. In another myth, Atalanta forces a foot trace to Hippomenes after he distracts her with these objects. In the garden of Hesperides, these magical fruit are guarded by the dragon Ladon. Your answer, please?
Pomegranate.
It's actually very alpha, golden apples. After Prince Iseus left Atalanta to die on a mountaintop as a baby, she was suckled by one of these animals. In another myth, the nymph Callisto is transformed into one of these animals by Hera. Your answer?
Pegasus.
It was a bear. Next toss-up. According to one work by this philosopher, the Weltgeist, or world spirit, is impacted by the many Volksgeister, or national spirits, and great men. This philosopher also used the term Aufhellung, translated as sublate, to refer to when an abstract term interacts with its negative. Along with Friedrich Schilling, this philosopher developed the concept of absolute idealism. While his most famous concept consisted of a thesis negated by an antithesis until the opposing forces are resolved by a synthesis. For 10 points, name this philosopher who outlined the master-slave dialect on the phenomenology of spirit.
Omicron Blackman.
Carl Jung.
It is incorrect. Beta Gamma. Do it again, Beta Gamma. Sorry. Beta Gamma Johnson.
Nietzsche.
Nietzsche is incorrect. It was Hegel, George Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel. Next toss up. J.R.R. Tolkien stated, "We do not deny the worth of the hero by accepting this character and the dragon in the monsters and the critics. This character is described as warped in the shape of a man and heralded by the sound of singing, leading him to begin a series of attacks every night for 12 years until encountering a Geat who had lost to Brika in a swimming contest. The descendant of Cain dies after its arm is torn off, leading his mother to attempt to revenge on a war in Hera."
Beta Gamma Johnson.
What is the Grendel?
Grendel is correct. Was it Rush or Johnson? I think it was Rush.
It was Johnson.
My budget never came back on.
Sorry, it was Rush. Who was it?
It was,
Also, his budget.
We're going. We're
Right.
good. Answer the following about geographic locations that have recently changed names. For 10 points each, this planned capital city of Kazakhstan changed its name in March of 2019 following a unanimous vote. It now shares its name with one of its former presidents, who resigned just 4 days before the name change. The current and former names are both acceptable.
Budapest.
Incorrect. Nursultan or Astana. In 2018, Macedonia agreed to change its name to North Macedonia at the Prespa Agreement, ending a 27-year naming dispute with this country that borders Macedonia to the south.
Istanbul.
Incorrect. It was Greece. Final section. In 2018, this city was renamed by BJP party, which has undertaken a recent campaign to rename India cities with the name of Muslim origin. This city, which is located at the confluence of the Ganges and Yamuna rivers, is one of four main sites that Kumbh Mela pilgrimage. The current and former names are both acceptable.
Delhi.
Incorrect. It was Allahabad. Next toss-up. An improvised car known as the Death Special was used by Baldwin Felts Agency to kill workers in this industry. A union in this industry broke away from the CIO in 1940 and was led by John L. Lewis. A company in this industry led by John D. Rockefeller Jr. was targeted by that year.
Omicron Blackman.
Time. Look at there. You got it in just in time. Omicron Blackman, that is correct. The bonus question. The Entangled Up in Blue, this author describes a book by Italian poet from the 13th century in which every one of them words rang true and glowed like burning coal. For 10 points each, name this poet who wrote Tangled Up in Blue for his album Blood on Tracks. This man, who won the 2016 Nobel Prize in Literature, also wrote the songs Like a Rolling Stone and The Times They Are A-Changin'.
Bill Withers.
And correct, it was Bob Dylan. In a 1978 interview, Dylan implied that the 13th century Italian poet from Tangled Up in Blue is this author's named for writing love sonnets to Laura II in Incanzonaro, even though this man wasn't born until 1304.
Stephen Hawking.
It was Petrarch. In another Blood on the Track song, Dylan alludes to the romantic relationship between Paul Verlaine and this other French symbolist poet. This poet of Drunken Boat wrote A Season in Hell.
Queen Elizabeth.
That answer was Arthur Rimbaud. Next toss-up. With TGF-beta, this compound promotes the development of regulatory T cells. Deficiency of this compound can cause psoriasis or the conjunctiva and buildup of keratin in Bittot's spot, while excessive consumption of it can lead to discoloration of the skin. An isoprenoid chain is attached to the beta-ionin ring in a retinal group, which can be found.
Omicron Blackman.
Vitamin A.
Vitamin A is correct. Toss up. Oh, and we're out of time.
Make sure you give them their point.
039.
All right, let's look at our scores. Had a really good game here, 160 to 130. Congratulations to Beta Gamma. On our now we are going to be moving on to Beta Gamma versus Iota Zeta. Iota Zeta, has all your members arrived?
Yes.
Outstanding.
Wait, make sure you
I'm trying to see if I can.
save the score.
Let's just
Write it down.
write it down. Okay.
So if you go back down, I'll snap a picture of it.
Yeah. Hold on. I was trying to change the points. Click to get linked together. Yes, round settings. And then more. Unlock buzzer. Individual says it never play the show timer. It just don't show it.
Okay, we can do it afterwards.
All right. Yeah, sorry. All right.
No worries.
Close this.
All right, scroll down so that I can see
So
it.
Beta Gamma and Omicron's 16 to 13, 160 to 130. And we've tested out all our buzzers and everything. So we will move on to the next round. Just about to the end of that packet. Good on this one. Yeah, that's good. All right. Iota Zeta, your team ready?
Just make sure we test their buzzers.
Oh, you know what? Let me put there. Go over here to this.
Brother Samuel,
Yes, sir.
before we get started, I sent somebody the YouTube link, and it said the YouTube link isn't working. It just says it just says Eastern Regional Scholarship.
I wasn't able to understand you. Try one more time, brother.
I sent the link, and they said the link isn't working. They said it just showed the video just showing Eastern Regional Scholars Bowl.
Oh. For the YouTube. Okay, so let me see what I got there. Hold on. Stream. Am I on live? No. Dashboard, Lord Jesus. I know I'm on live. Let's see what it says on here. Somewhere on. Let me see if I can check on here to send you all the link that I'm on.
Through Ecamm Live?
Yeah, it's on here live. It's just, I got you. I need to send y'all a better link. Let me see if I can check on here. Yeah, because I hear the delay. Okay, so check your chats here, all three teams. Your text message chat. Omicron Scholars. All right, I think I got that out to you all. There it is. Oh, come on. Did that come through to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Outstanding. Where's my other phone? This one ain't acting right. Okay, so Iota Zeta is up versus Beta Gamma. Iota Zeta, are all your team ready? Oh, shoot, why didn't it work? Iota Zeta, is your team ready?
Yes.
Cool. Beta Gamma, your team ready?
Yes.
Outstanding.
Have them test their buzzers.
They did a test already. And they're still logged in. Oh, no, I see Iota Zeta all disconnected. Iota Zeta, you need to check
Yeah.
your buzzers.
Yep.
You
They're
just
not-
left
I don't. Let's look
Okay.
at the top.
Yeah. Iota Zeta.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Okay, there's Moleke, Drell Teal.
There are only two that have come in.
There's more brothers. There's 4 of
I
y'all, right?
know, but only 2 have come in.
I got Maleke, I got Teal. The other 2 teammates. Brother Adewole, Tolu, and final team member, Auto Zeta.
Ian Penny, he's typing in the code now.
732 570.
Oh, okay. So I gotta put him on it. Okay. And Brother Penny, I'm gonna do your. Okay. Got you. Oh, cancel. Did I do it? Yep, it's still
So
there.
you have
Okay.
all of them.
All right. Ready for our next game. Again, we got Beta Gamma versus Alpha Zeta. Officers ready. Teams are ready.
But I'm not trying to get.
Yeah, since I'm not
No, you didn't read those. Oh, well, actually, maybe you did.
Imagine. You have a card.
This is the first one. I feel like this was the first one too. Yeah. We'll start here. Okay. Both teams are ready. We will begin in 5, 4. Actually, let me get a fresh restart here.
Yeah.
All right. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Toss up. In one short story by this author, a Navy veteran gets a tattoo of the Byzantine Christ and is kicked out of his home by his wife, Sarah Ruth. In another story by this author, Joy, who changes her name to Holga, thinks of seducing Manly Porter, but he steals her prosthetic leg and reveals he is an atheist despite being a Bible salesman. In another story by this author, the cat pity song causes Bailey to flip a car, after which he and the grandmother encounter a black hearse whose passenger included the misfit. For 10 points, name this author of Parker's Back, Good Country People, and A Good Man is Hard to Find. Time. The answer was Flannery O'Connor. Next toss-up. One track on this album may have accidentally revealed that the name of Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively's third child, and If I Just Showed Up at Your Party, Would You Have Me? Would You Want Me? Another song from this album describes a month as sipped away like a bottle of wine, 'Cause You Were Never Mine. And Aaron Dessner of the National produced a duet between Justin Vernon of Bon Iver and the primary author of this album, which was announced by its artists in the morning before a midnight release, and includes the tracks Betty, August, and Exile. For 10 points, name this 2020 album by Taylor Swift.
Beta Gamma Rush.
Confessions.
Incorrect. Omicron. Time. The answer was Folklore. Toss up. These materials are usually able to withstand flashover arcs, but can be permanently damaged by a puncture arc, an interior electric arc. The Mach class of these materials has electron-electron reactions that negate their small band gap, while most of these materials have a larger gap. Omicron Blackman. Wait, is this Blackman? Wait a minute.
Omicron's not supposed to be playing.
Blackman,
right?
you're not playing. What are you doing? I'll continue.
Sorry, my buzzer.
Sorry,
Sorry,
let me back up the seconds just a minute.
Oh, shit, what?
I'll continue on. The Mach class of these materials has electron-electron reactions that negate their small band gap, while most of these materials have a large gap. Breakdown occurs when these materials receive a voltage exceeding their dielectric strength. No perfect examples of these materials exist because all materials carry some amount of...
Beta Gamma Johnson.
Resistors.
Incorrect. I'll continue for iota zeta. No perfect examples of these materials exist because all these materials carry some amount of charge conductors. Porcelain, glass, and rubber are examples of, for 10 points, what materials that carry little to no electric current.
Iota Zeta Teal.
Conductors.
Incorrect. It was electrical insulators. Next toss-up. According to some accounts, this figure and the nymph Philera were the parents of Charon. The 100-hand ones were imprisoned by this figure, and he vomited up several figures after he was given a cup of mustard and wine by Metis. This figure swallowed a stone in swaddling clothes given to him by his wife.
Beta Gamma Johnson.
Who is Kronos?
Kronos is correct. Wait, pause time. I paused the time. Let me correct your scores right quick. All right. And
They get up. Okay.
don't I have a reset?
So they should be getting a point, right?
Yeah, he's getting a point. I just got to. I thought I would have had a reset.
No, that resets the time.
Reset scores. Show player. No, no, no,
I think you'd have to create a whole new game code, which we don't wish to do.
Close. No worries. I'll just clear them out. Give me just a second here, brothers. I'm clearing out your scores. That was it. Okay. And so now Carl Johnson's got one. All right. And the time restarted. And your toss-up, your bonus, I'm sorry, for Beta Gamma. William Bryden was the sole survivor of a retreat made from this city to Jalabad. For 10 points, name the city ruled by leaders such as Shahun Shadar Durrani. William F. Stone's forces were massacred while retreating from the city in 1842.
Constantinople?
Incorrect. It was Kabul. The F. Stone's retreat from Kabul occurred during the first of the wars between Britain and this nation. Geopolitical tensions between the British and Russian empires over this nation were known as the Great Game.
Egypt?
Incorrect is Afghanistan. And the final section, during the Great Game, the British Empire tried to strengthen relations with this empire, led by Ranjit Singh. This empire's Dal Khalasi army fought a series of wars against the Durrani Empire.
Ottoman?
Incorrect, it was Sikh, or Sikh. Next toss-up, both teams. Unrestricted access to government loans in this country led to the Enchilamento bubble. Rule of the coronals took place in the late 19th century in this country, during which the PRP and the PRM represented two powerful southern states as a part of its coffee with milk politics. The first ruler of this country brought the Confederation of the Equator and supposedly declared its independence with the cry of Ipiranga. A later ruler of this country issued the law of free birth before outlawing slavery with its golden law. For 10 points, name this Latin American country led by Dom Pedro I, who belonged to the royal family of Portugal. Beta Gamma Johnson.
Brazil?
Brazil is correct. The bonus question. Certain isotopes are radioactive due to an unstable neutron to proton ratio, resulting in various types of nuclear decay. For 10 points, alpha decay involves the decay of a heavier isotope, such as uranium-238 into thorium-234, at the nucleus of this element.
Plutonium?
Incorrect is helium. In beta minus decay, an atom emits an antineutrino along with one of these negatively charged particles that surround the nucleus in orbitals.
Electron?
Electrons is correct. This method of radioactive dating measures the amount of electron capture decay of one isotope of atomic mass 40 to another of the same mass in order to date objects between 20,000 and 4.5 billion years old.
Carbon dating.
Incorrect. It is Kr dating or potassium argon dating. Next toss up. The finale of the overture to this opera begins with the trumpets blaring, followed by the introduction of the percussion, and leads into a gallop played by the orchestra. In this opera, one character is arrested after refusing to bow to a hat and agrees to ferry Leuthold across a lake after he kills a soldier. Gessler is killed and Alterdorf is captured from Austria by rebels in this opera, whose title character shoots an apple off his son's head. For 10 points, name this Gioacchino Rossini opera based on a Swiss folk hero.
Beta Gamma Johnson.
William Tell.
William Tell Overture. That is correct. The bonus for Beta Gamma. As a vice president once said, there's nothing better for the inside of a man than the outside of a horse. Answer the following about charging horsemen in art for 10 points each. This artist, who created portraits of patients such as the woman with a gambling mania and portrait of a kleptomaniac for his psychiatrist, depicted a Napoleonic officer on horseback mid-battle in the charging chasseur. Captain, your answer? Time. The answer was Theodore Géricault. Next section. Eugene Delacroix painted a charging horseman in the massacre at Chios, which takes place during this country's War of Independence. He also depicted a representation of this country on the ruins of Missolonghi. Captain, your answer?
What are the Philippines?
Incorrect. It is Greece. The last section. This man painted a Napoleonic soldier putting down an uprising during the Peninsular War in the charge of the Mamelukes. An execution taking place the following day is the setting of this 3rd of May, 1808.
Unsure.
It was Goya. Next toss-up question. Fisher's method sums the natural log of many of these values as a method of combining results from similar tests. A curve of these values is affected by factors including study power and publication bias, while a type 1 error occurs when this value is below the alpha level but is false positive. Data dredging, one example of the multiple comparisons problem, is often called the hacking of this value. Calculated values of this statistic below the target value, usually 0.5 or 0.1, are considered statistically significant. For 10 points, name this value in statistics, the probability of obtaining observed results if the null hypothesis is true.
Test statistic.
Incorrect. Iota Zeta? Time. The answer was p-value. Next toss-up. This poem asks, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray, and claims that the blind eyes could gaze like meteors and be gay. This poem describes good men that the last wave by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in a graying bay, and states that though wise men are at the end, they know dark is right. They take the title action. This poem's opening line, after which it is named, is followed by old men should burn and rave at the close of day. In this poem, the author asks his dying father to rage against the dying of the light. For 10 points, name this Villanelle by Dylan Thomas. Time. It was do not go gentle into the good night. Next toss-up. Sortion, or the random selection of individuals for this office, was performed in this city, where 50 members of each of 10 tribes comprised its main council. 9 archons governed by this city were a coup establishment in the oligarchical council of 400, later replaced by an assembly in which all adult male citizens could participate. One leader of the city added 100 members to the boule and created the process of ostracism, while another expanded a membership into the ecclesia. Draco, Solon, and Callisthenes led for 10 points. Which Greek city-state governed by democracy? Betty Gamma Johnson.
Athens.
Athens is correct. Toss the bonus question. Many religious practices have been challenged in the U.S. Supreme Court for 10 points each. In Employment Division versus Smith, members of the Native American Church sued the state of Oregon over their use of this substance. The Sacramento plant is used, often consumed in a teepee during a namesake all-night ceremony.
Peyote.
Peyote is correct. The next bonus question. In 1992, this Hindu sect lost a fight to allow begging for money in airports. This sect, known for its chants and orange robes, built the town of New Vrindavan, West Virginia, which contains Pradappa's Palace of Gold. Your answer, Captain?
Kabbalah.
Incorrect. It was Hare Krishna. In the 1878 case Reynolds versus U.S., this court ruled that this religion's practice of bigamy could be outlawed. The majority religion of Utah was founded by Joseph Smith.
Mormonism.
Mormonism is correct. Next toss-up. The Broadway Mansions is an old Art Deco hotel in this city, which is connected by the 20-mile-long Dongai Bridge to the port of Yangshan. Two large spheres. Time. I'll go on for.
Oh, I wasn't sure if I was supposed to go. You didn't call me.
Beta Gamma Johnson.
What is Hong Kong?
Incorrect. I will go on for Iota Zeta. Two large spheres are connected vertically by 3 columns arranged in a triangular shape in this city's Oriental Pearl Tower. The Hangpua River cuts through this city, while the fastest train in the world is a maglev line connecting the city's Longyang Road station to its Pudong International Airport. Jiangsu and Jiangjing are cities near for 10 points. What city on the Yangtze Delta the most populous in China? Iota Zeta Teal.
Shanghai.
Shanghai is correct. The bonus question. One species of this tree, named for grandidier, forms a so-called avenue in Morondava. For 10 points each, name these upside-down trees found in arid regions of Africa, Australia, and Arabian Peninsula that can have diameters as large as 52 feet. Captain, your answer?
I'm not sure.
It was baobab. 6 of the 9 species of baobab are endemic to this large island country, which is also home to every species of lemur. Its capital is Antananarivo. Captain, your answer? Time. It is Madagascar. Madagascar is separated from mainland Africa by this body of water, which also contains the nation of Comoros and the French department of Mayotte. Captain, your answer? It is the Mozambique Channel. Next toss-up. Move. This country's Valvidos scandal led to the chief of its intelligence service being imprisoned in a facility of his own design. During the 1990s, its state-sponsored Grupo Colina death squad targeted the Marxist Tupac Amaru, revolutionary movement, and the Maoist Shining Path. The ethnically Japanese president Alberto Fujimori won a 1990 election against author Mario Vargas Llosa. For 10 points, what Andean country?
What is Colombia?
Incorrect. Iota Zeta. time. The answer was Peru. Next toss up. The Andante, second movement of a piece by this composer, opens with the theme C C E E G G E. Two muted violins are left playing after the other performers extinguish candles at the end of a symphony by this man, signaling his departure from the Eterези family's palace. A loud G major chord meant to make the ladies jump is included in a work by, for 10 points, what composer of symphonies named Farewell and Surprise?
Hayden?
Hayden is correct. The bonus question. Chemical vapor deposition and molecular beam expacity are methods of producing these materials for 10 points. Identify this two-word term which refers to materials between approximately a nanometer to a micrometer in thickness. A form of interference named after these materials produces the color of soap bubbles.
Microfibers?
Incorrect. The answer was thin films. Next section. Many thin films act as this type of material, which is often made of silicone with properties in between those of conductors and insulators. Captain, your answer?
I'm sure.
Semiconductors. A semiconductor material is used to make these electrical devices which exist in bipolar junction and field effect forms. These devices can be used as amplifiers or switches.
Chips?
Incorrect. It's transistor. Lord Jesus, Siri is trying to answer my question. Hold on. Jesus. Seriously, stop. Okay. Now, the next toss-up. In this borough, the artist Carl Walker exhibited a sculpture of a sphinx inside the original Domino's sugar refinery. Wallabout Bay contains a Navy Yard named for this borough. Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest is held in this borough's Coney Island. Jackie Robinson broke baseball's color barrier when he joined this borough's Dodgers. For 10 points, what borough is separated?
Manhattan?
Incorrect. I'll continue for Alta Zeta. What borough is separated from Manhattan? Oh, Jesus, it moved down. From Manhattan, crap. Yeah, from Manhattan by a namesake bridge. Alta Zeta Teal.
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn is correct.
Oh.
The Boston bonus question for Alta Zeta. This man's first successful, actually incorrect. This proposed state of desert would have encompassed what is now this U.S. state. For 10 points each, Brigham Young was the first governor of the territory that is now what state?
Oh no.
Your answer, Captain?
Virginia.
Incorrect. It was Utah. Under the terms of a compromise named for this year, the Utah Territory was granted popular sovereignty to decide its stance on slavery.
Yeah. I don't know.
Your answer?
Not sure.
The answer was 1850. In this 1857 massacre, over one, and we're out of time. Let's look at our half. We got scores of, let me move over here. How did it go down? Oh, no, that's right. 8, no. Yeah, how did Omicron get 11? Because I didn't. Oh, I didn't do the bottom part for them. Okay. Oh, it got them in the negative. Weird.
Brother
That's not
Samuel,
correct.
I
Yeah, that's not correct.
score.
Yeah. What do you have? Because I've got 80 to
Us having 80, IZ having 20.
yeah. So then why is it wrong at the bottom there? So weird. Huh. So well, I'll leave y'all at 80 and 20 on those two, and then we'll make sure we keep up from here.
Believe the episode.
Iota Zeta, are you able to confirm that score?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Are there any substitutions, Iota Zeta or Beta Gamma?
No.
No, sir.
Outstanding. We will look at our timer again. And I'm okay. You okay? Yeah, okay. All right. We will begin our next round in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Optical pumping is used to prepare these devices for use by energizing their gain medium. These devices are partly named for a process that was predicted in 1917 by Albert Einstein, and whose reverse is the process of absorption. A population inversion allows these devices to produce coherent, collimated output. For 10 points, name these devices that produce monochromatic beams of light using...
Camera.
Incorrect. I'll continue for Iota Zeta. Monochromatic beams of light using stimulated emission.
See?
Iota Zeta Tolu.
Light bulb.
Incorrect. It is lasers. Next toss up. This man lost popular support after being named the Earl of Chatman and losing his nickname of the Great Commoner. Along with the Duke of Newcastle, he formed a coalition that led Britain during the 7 Years' War. The renaming of Fort Duquesne honored this man, whose son was of the same name, also served as British Prime Minister. For 10 points, what British politician inspired the name of a city in western Pennsylvania? Time. This is when we needed Omicron. Pittsburgh. William Pitt, the Elder. Next toss-up. In this novel, two unnamed lovers making their way to Shinara Kamnida for a Sunday Mass are followed at no great distance by a lady in black. This novel's protagonist is said to lack the qualities of a mother woman, unlike her Creole friend Adelaide Ratignolle. Robert Lebrun abruptly ends a summer vacation at Grand Isle, much to the dismay of Edna Pontler. For 10 points, what novel by Kate Chopin? Time. The answer was The Awakening. Next toss-up. Paul Lauterbur and Peter Mansfield used gradients in their development of this technique in 1970. T1 and T2 weighted images can be generated using this technique, which often employs gadolinium-based contrast agents to improve visibility. People with metal...
Developing film.
Incorrect. I'll continue for Iota Zeta. People with metal implants often cannot undergo this technique. For 10 points, name this medical imaging modality that uses a strong magnetic field. Iota Zeta Adewole.
MRI.
MRI is correct. Bonus question. For 10 points each, answer the following about Hartwell House in Buckinghamshire, England. Hartwell House is the first mentioned in this census of England conducted by William the Conqueror in 1086. This book is named for the final day of reckoning. Your answer, Captain?
Not sure.
Doomsday is the book. For 3 centuries, the house belonged to this family, which produced an American Confederate general and an actor, Christopher, who played Saruman. Your answer, Captain?
Not sure.
The Confederate general was Robert E. Lee, or the Lee family. During the French Revolution of this future King of France, the brother of Louis XVI, and Charles X spent 6 years in exile in Hartwell House. Your answer, Captain?
Don't know.
Future king was Louis XVIII. Next toss-up, both teams. 2 architects for this country designed an innovative glass facade with fully glazed corners for the Fagus factory. Architects who immigrated from this country designed Tel Aviv's White City buildings. This Barcelona pavilion and the Seagram building were designed by a man from this country who used the motto less is more. Walter Gropius and Ludwig Mies van der Rohe were from 10 points. What home to the Bauhaus? Bauhaus.
Austria.
Incorrect. Alda Zeta. Time. The answer was Germany. Frank Knight's magnum opus argues that the quantity cannot be eliminated by competition during the persistence of risk and uncertainty. This quantity is maximized at the point where MR equals MC. Opportunity cost is factored into the economic type of this quantity, but not the normal type. Neoclassical economics usually assume that the firms maximize for 10 points what value equal to revenue minus cost.
Profit.
Profit is correct. The bonus question. This military veteran is a scholar of Indian dialects who has written a book titled Spoken Sanskrit for 10 points each. Name this colonial who plays for the education of a flower girl after losing a bet. Captain, your answer? Time. The answer is Colonel Pickering. And afterward, pause time. Pause time. That's what I thought I lost you guys. Hold on. Let me go over there. Looks like I lost everybody. Jesus. Okay, did I lose everybody? That was crazy. Who's still joining? Beta Gamma is joining. Yeah. I paused the time. Let's see. Beta Gamma. Beta Gamma, you in now? Go back to main for me. Okay, Alda Zeta, stick with us for a second here. Yeah, let's see. Omicron. Huh. Yeah. I don't know why it's not. Let me try calling them. Yeah, let me see here. Spooner. Yeah, guest is in green room. Who's guest? We paused the time out. Zeta, you're able to hear still hear us fine, right?
Hello.
Spooner, I'm trying to see. I see you all trying to call back in. Try it one more time.
All right, give me 1 sec, bro. Hey, y'all trying to call back in?
Beta Gamma. I think Beta Gamma's in. Beta Gamma, can you hear?
You said it cut out. Yeah, we're trying to get back. We're trying to reconnect now.
Yeah. I think it happened to all of us.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see here. Okay, and I'm gonna add on Beta Gamma right quick while I have you guys trying that too. Try to be on hold. Hold on, Brother Spooner. I'm trying to see how I can get you guys back in here too. see. Da, da, da. Brother Johnson,
Hello?
this is Sam. Brother Johnson, you there?
Yes, yeah, Brother Samuel?
Yes, sir.
We're trying to reconnect now.
Yeah,
What's happening?
I see it on my end as well. I got Omicron online. Iota Zeta's able to get in. Let me see.
Yeah, it's our Wi-Fi. It seems our Wi-Fi is functioning. It seems like it's something with a link. Like, let's try refreshing the page.
Because I see you guys on, but I don't see your video. Tell you what, let me try.
It's just saying we're connecting right now.
It's just saying connecting. I see that too. Okay, I'm gonna try to hit disconnect, and y'all try one more time.
Okay.
Do the same thing for you, Brother Spooner.
Sorry, can you repeat that, bro?
Try to hit that link one more time. Matter of fact, let me do a fresh copy, and I'll put it in your text messages.
So are we the only ones that are not showing the call?
Iota Zeta is on, and sorry. Okay, now I'm sorry. Hold on, let me get back over there. Omicron joining. Omicron is in green room. Adobe Desktop. Send error. The hell is that? Yeah. I see you all joining? Omicron, are you able to see in? Let me see here. Guest Omicron. Omicron, do you copy? Are you able to see? I see you all in the room. Can you all see?
Yeah, sorry. We just had an issue with our computer, but we're clicking the link right now.
Okay.
You want me to send it to you all? I guess.
What in the deuce? And we were going so smoothly. What in the deuce? Not here for the games. Iota Zeta, thank you for your patience.
Walter Kraus 17.
Iota Zeta, you able to hear us, right? Oh, Iota Zeta's frozen. Beta Gamma's joining.
Okay, we're back.
Okay.
Back in. We changed devices.
Okay, I see Beta Gamma in. And I'll put y'all in there. Now.
Look at Beatrice's stories with Kelvin.
What in the deuce? They literally just ended out everybody. Hold on. Beta Gamma. No, well, it does, but it's not supposed to be.
We were there for a second, then it disconnected us again. It says we're in the green room.
I'm going to create a new link.
Oh, that's gonna create a new link. All right, thank you.
Yeah, we're currently still, it says connecting for us.
Try this new link.
Somebody try Odell, can you use the laptop? I want to try sending a link to Odell. He said he's about to send a new link. He said he's just working video right now.
Okay, check that last link, brothers.
You said you sent a new link, Brother Samuel?
Yes, sir. See if that new one will work. Let me add on one person. I was trying to call and add on out of Zeta. Let me
The link you sent, Brother Sammy, was the same link you sent before.
It's the same link.
Yeah.
Okay, it said new on my end, but it's probably just more glitches. Tell you what. Try to click on it right quick. Does it open you up for you?
When it opens, it just says the link is expired. Link not recognized.
Got it. Okay, so let me finish this and then bring it